Hello, this is Adam, the baby gear expert and car seat technician with infant, toddler, youth, and the pump station and nursery. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the Evenflo 360 Revolve and how to install it. Now remember, one installation is not going to be the same install in every vehicle. So before you begin, make sure to check the manual of the car seat and of your vehicle so that you know you're doing everything correctly. Let's get started. So before we're able to install the Evenflo, we first need to remove the chair from the shell. To rotate the car seat, there's a gray tab on the top of either side of the car seat. You're gonna lift up the gray tab and you're gonna rotate. On the front of the chair, there's a red arrow. There's also a white arrow, and you wanna make sure you line it up with the white arrow on the actual base itself. Once those arrows are lined up, you're able to remove the car seat from the base. Now that the car seat is off of the base, we can begin the installation. The first thing we want to do is we want to release the top tether from the base and throw it into the trunk. In my car, the Prius C, the anchor point is actually in the trunk directly behind the vehicle seat. So we're going to loosen it up. There's a gray button right where the tether is. Push the gray button, pull the strap away, and that'll loosen it up. We can disconnect the top tether. In my vehicle, the headrest does slide up, so that way the tether can go underneath the headrest and into the trunk. And we just want to get the tether out of the way now. We'll attach it and tighten it at the very end. The next thing we want to do is we want to open the lock-off device or the tension door. There is a gray button right inside the base here. You're going to squeeze the button all the way until the little window here turns red, and that'll allow you to open it. That'll give way for our seatbelt to come through the car seat. There is a belt path on both sides of the base, and it says guide for seatbelt. So you know that is where the seatbelt needs to go through. So I'm gonna feed the seatbelt through the belt guide. We're gonna go over the blue belt path here on the inside of the base. We're gonna go outside the other belt guide, and we're gonna buckle in. Once you have your seatbelt buckled in, you want to make sure that the lap belt is going underneath all the blue tabs here. And now we can begin to tighten. What the Evenflo manual says is you want to grab the shoulder belt from the inside of the base here, and you want to pull it away from the seatbelt buckle so that way the lap belt begins to tighten. It's very important not to tighten the seatbelt too much. If you do that, there's going to be too much tension and you will not be able to close the lock-off door. So you want to tighten it where you get rid of as much slack as possible. We're going to close the tension door, and you want to make sure you push it all the way down and that the window here turns solid green. That's how you know it's locked in place. If you tighten the seatbelt too much, it's going to be near impossible to close this door. If you try and close it and the window stays red, you will need to loosen up the seatbelt a little bit because you have to close the door all the way. That'll ensure the tension door is closed. Now, because the tension door is not a true lock-off device, we will need to lock the seatbelt. In my vehicle, the way you lock it is you grab the shoulder belt, you pull it all the way out slowly, and what that does is it switches the seatbelt to locking mode. Now when I let it retract, I'm going to hear a ratcheting sound. That ratcheting sound means the seatbelt is locked. If your vehicle does not lock like this, there are alternative ways to locking it. Number one is some seatbelt buckles are thicker and they have their own lock-off switch. So if you switch it, the seatbelt will lock as you tighten it. The next thing is using a locking clip. If your seatbelt does not have a way to lock on its own, you may need to add a locking clip to your seatbelt. And the manual will show you how to do that. But now that our lock-off device is closed, our tension door is also closed, the seatbelt is nice and secure. The way you want to test it is by using one hand. Either hand is fine. Grab it from either side of the belt path. As long as the car seat cannot move more than an inch from side to side or front to back, you know it's tight enough. If the car seat is moving more than an inch, you will need to open the tension door, tighten it up a little bit more, and close it again. But now that our base is secured to the vehicle, we can now tighten the top tether So let's head to the trunk and we'll finish that off. Here we have our top tether. It's coming underneath the headrest. You want to make sure the strap is straight. You do not want it twisted or tangled. So that way when we connect it to the tether point, and in my car it's clearly marked, the flat part of the connector should be facing outward. So I'm going to click it in. I'm going to pull on the strap to tighten it. And you want to get rid of as much of the slack as possible. Now that our base is completely secured correctly to the vehicle, we can put the car seat back onto the shell. So just like when we removed it, you want to make sure you line up the arrow on the car seat with one of the arrows on the base. If the child is under 2 years old, you want to still be rear facing. So you're going to rotate the car seat to the rear facing position. There is a leveling device on both sides of the chair here. You want to make sure that the black ball is within the correct range. So there's black and white. If the child is under 20 pounds, you have to make sure that the black ball is somewhere in the white. If the child is over 20 pounds, you need to make sure that the black ball is in the black range. So even though the child has to be rear facing for at least 2 years old, if you can keep them rear facing longer, it is significantly safer. And this car seat allows you to go rear facing up to 50 pounds if you wanted to. When you are ready to legally go front facing, the car seat does have to first be at the most reclined option. I'm going to do that. To rotate it, we're going to lift up one of these gray tabs here, and then we're going to go all the way to the front facing position, just like that. The rotation function is just for loading and unloading. So you never want to drive with the car seat not locked in the rear or front facing position, because the car seat will be dangerous for the child if you do that. So always follow the rules of the car seat. Children under 2 should be rear facing, and once they're over 2, if you are doing front facing, then that's okay. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe to support the channel. We'll see you next time.